You're not tired because you're getting older. You're tired because your home is silently draining you. A recent Japanese study found that visual clutter increases cortisol by up to 30%. That's your body's stress hormone. And the worst part? You've normalized it. You've trained yourself to live in rooms that overwhelm your nervous system and call it home. But in Japan, homes are designed to heal, not exhaust. Every drawer, every surface, every silence, intentional. It's not minimalism, it's mental hygiene. And it's why Japanese seniors consistently rank among the world's longest living, calmest populations. So if you've been waking up already fatigued, struggling to focus, or feeling like your space just doesn't fit your life anymore, this isn't about redecorating. This is about reclaiming your energy by learning the 15 habits that make Japanese homes feel so peaceful it resets your entire nervous system. Let's start right now. Habit 15. Clean the air. Clear the mind. The Kanso rule of freshness. Most people start decluttering by attacking drawers or closets. But in Japan, there's another kind of clutter. One you can't see, but you can feel. The air. Not the dust or the mold. The energy of stale air, of trapped breath, of a room that's forgotten how to exhale. That's where the habit of Kanso begins. One of the 7 Zen principles of interior harmony. It teaches that simplicity starts not just with fewer things, but with cleaner air, open windows and refreshed flow. Every morning, Misako opens her windows, even in winter. Not for a breeze, for renewal. In Japan, this is called kuki wo kaeru, changing the air. It's as emotional as it is physical. According to data from Japan's Ministry of Health, daily ventilation has been linked to improved cognitive performance and emotional stability in seniors, especially in high-humidity regions. And yet in the West, we seal our homes shut. Windows locked, doors closed, candles masking mustiness. We declutter surfaces, but ignore the air our lungs are still breathing in. But stale air creates stale mood, stale decisions, even subtle irritation. Misako believes your home can't begin to feel new if it's still breathing yesterday, so her ritual is simple. First thing each morning, she opens 2 windows to create a cross breeze, just for 10 minutes. Then she lights a single stick of hinoki incense, not for scent but for intention. The air changes, so does her energy. If your space feels heavy, start with this. Don't buy a diffuser. Don't spray chemicals. Just let your home breathe. Because the first step in decluttering isn't always removing objects. Sometimes it's removing stagnation. Habit 14. The no floor storage rule. Because the floor is sacred. Let's talk about something you've probably seen in every American home. Plastic bins under the bed, boxes stacked in the corner, laundry baskets hiding behind doors. It's storage, right? Practical, efficient. But in Japanese homes, there's an unspoken rule. Don't store things on the floor. Not just because it looks messy, but because in traditional Japanese culture, the floor is a sacred space, a place to sit, to stretch, to reconnect with the earth. Misako once said, "When you clutter the floor, you clutter your foundation." And she's right. Studies from the National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science and Technology in Japan found that people who live in elevated environments, less floor clutter, more visibility, report greater mental clarity and reduced physical strain. Why? Because you move better. You see better. Your space supports you, instead of tripping you up. When the floor is clear, even a small room feels expansive. When it's blocked, even a mansion feels suffocating. And for seniors, floor clutter isn't just stressful, it's dangerous. Fall risk, frustration, fatigue, it all builds up from the ground. That's why Misako elevates everything. Baskets go on shelves, shoes in racks. Even her trash bin sits on a wooden riser. Nothing touches the floor unless it's meant to ground her, not burden her. So here's the challenge. Take a walk around your home. Every item on the floor, ask yourself, is this helping me feel rooted or just in the way? Could it be lifted, moved, honored with space? Because when the floor breathes, so do you. And in the quiet traditions of Japan, that sacred emptiness is not emptiness at all. It's strength, waiting to rise beneath your feet. Habit 13. Visual noise is still noise, quieting the wall clutter. Here's a truth no one talks about. Your walls are speaking to you. Every frame, every plaque, every canvas print you haven't noticed in years, they're still whispering. Some shout, others just hum in the background. But over time, this creates what Japan calls mukanke na mono, unrelated objects, things that don't align with your current life. In Japanese design, walls are rarely overloaded. There might be one scroll, one photograph, maybe a handmade tapestry, but never 12 competing frames, each from a different era, each demanding your attention. Misako calls it visual silence, and it's the reason Japanese homes feel calming the moment you walk in. There's nothing screaming for you to remember, nothing begging to be processed, just space, softness, a place for your eyes to rest. According to 2022 research from Japan's Institute of Psychology and Environment, cluttered visual fields increase cortisol, the stress hormone, by as much as 22%. And guess where people felt the most overwhelmed? Not in messy drawers, in overstimulated rooms. So here's the habit. Once a month, Misako removes one thing from her walls, just one. She steps back and asks, does this add peace? Not sentiment, not history, peace. She doesn't erase memories, she curates meaning, and in doing so, she creates a home that isn't a museum of her past, but a sanctuary for her present. Try it. Take down 3 things. Leave 1. Watch how the room exhales. Because less on your walls isn't about being bare, it's about being free to focus on what truly matters now, not what mattered 20 years ago. Habit 12. Store what you use, not what you might need someday. Let's talk about the drawer. You know the one, the maybe drawer, full of spare buttons, expired coupons, cords for devices you don't even own anymore. We all have one. Misako used to, too. But then she learned a phrase from her mother that changed everything. So no hi ni tsukawanai mono wa, so no hi no jikan wo ubao. What you won't use today steals time from today. In Japan, the idea of just-in-case storage is often replaced with just-in-time. Only keep what serves your life now. Because most of the time, those someday items never come. And in the meantime, they create clutter, not just in drawers, but in your mind. A study by Osaka University found that seniors who maintained someday storage in more than 2 rooms were 25% more likely to report feelings of overwhelm and decision fatigue. Think about that. All those spare things? They aren't saving you. They're stealing from you. Misako's habit is clear. If she hasn't used something in 12 months, and it doesn't bring joy or meaning, it goes. No guilt, no fear, Because she trusts the present more than the possibility of what if. And here's what happened. Her drawers got easier. Her decisions got faster. Her mornings got lighter. There was no longer a barrier between her and the life she wanted to live today. So here's the invitation. Pick one drawer, empty it completely, hold each item and ask, is this for my life now, or for a life I'm not living anymore? That clarity is worth more than all the zip ties, random remotes, or backup pens in the world. You don't need to prepare for every scenario. You need space to live the one you're in. Habit 11. Honor storage as an extension of self-care, not shame. There's this silent belief in Western homes that storage is where you hide things you're ashamed of. Attics become graveyards for the emotional past. Closets become war zones of forgotten sizes and unmade decisions. But in Japan, storage is sacred. Misako calls it okizari no jikan, the stillness of stored time. It's not about hiding, it's about honoring. Traditional Japanese homes use tansu, handcrafted wooden chests with sliding compartments, not to stuff but to protect. Every item inside has intention, reverence, and space. Misako stores her seasonal clothes in breathable cloth bags, not plastic bins. She wraps mementos in furoshiki cloth, tied with care. Even her cleaning supplies are stored in matching containers, not for looks, but for respect. Because how you store something affects how you feel when you retrieve it. Western psychology supports this. A 2021 study from Kyoto's University of Design and Human Environment showed that orderly, beautiful storage systems reduced reclutter by 37% in aging adults because they invited use rather than avoidance. Think about that. When storage isn't chaotic, you return to it. You don't just shove and shut the door. You engage. You remember. You reconnect. Misako teaches, if a drawer or closet feels overwhelming, it's not your fault. It's just asking for a new relationship. Not to be conquered, but to be curated. So start small. One shelf, one box. Turn it into a place of care, not condemnation. Fold gently. Label clearly. Place with purpose. And when you open it tomorrow, you won't feel dread, you'll feel dignity, because true self-care isn't just skincare or meditation. It's the quiet way you tend to the parts of your home that no one else sees. And through that, you tend to yourself. Habit 10. Live with access, not excess. The 3 things rule. Here's a habit so radical, so simple, it'll change the way you interact with every drawer, cabinet, and closet in your home. Only keep out 3 items per space. That's it. 3. Not the whole collection. Not the backup supply. Just the 3 you reach for the most. Misako learned this from a shop owner in Osaka who kept only 3 knives on display despite selling dozens. He said, people focus when there are fewer choices. And the same is true in your home. When your bathroom counter has only 3 essentials, maybe a brush, a face cream, a small dish for earrings, you use them with intention. When your nightstand holds only a book, a lamp and water, your mind doesn't spiral. It settles. The science backs it up. A 2023 study from the Tokyo Institute of Gerontology found that seniors who reduced active clutter items, visible and frequently touched, to just 2-4 per area, reported higher emotional clarity, improved sleep, and reduced anxiety. Why? Because choice fatigue disappears. The brain quiets. You're no longer navigating a sea of options, just the tools of your daily life. Misako's rule is this: 3 things per space. If she needs more, they're stored intentionally nearby, but they don't crowd the surface. This creates flow, clarity, and a visual cue of readiness. Try it now. Go to your desk, your kitchen counter, your bathroom shelf. Remove everything but the 3 items you actually use. Let the rest go, or store it mindfully. You'll feel a kind of mental exhale you didn't know was missing, because the opposite of clutter isn't emptiness. It's access, and when you live with only what you need within reach, your home stops shouting and finally begins to support you. Habit 9. Close what you don't use. The beauty of hidden storage. Let's talk about visibility. Not the visual kind, but the mental noise created by seeing everything all the time. In many Western homes, open shelves, open bins, open closets are praised for being accessible. But too much visibility quickly becomes visual overwhelm. And that's why Japanese homes lean toward hidden storage, not to hide, but to soothe. Misako once explained it this way: when everything's exposed, my thoughts get tangled, and she's not alone. A recent 2024 study from Tokyo's Center for Aging found that seniors who used closed storage systems, like sliding drawers, opaque boxes, or paneled cabinets, reported a 21% reduction in daily stress levels compared to those living with constant visual exposure. Why? Because our brains never truly rest when constantly scanning. They process every object in the background. Even unused items create subconscious to-do lists. That's why Misako prefers what she calls quiet storage. Behind a cabinet, in a basket with a lid, inside a drawer that gently slides shut. She stores her daily tea supplies in a small wooden box near the kettle, not because they're messy, but because she wants her counter to feel like a place of ritual, not routine. And here's the trick. It's not about hiding mess. It's about protecting peace. So look around. What open shelves constantly demand your attention? What visible piles add noise, not function? Try this. Choose one shelf, one space, add a drawer insert, a cloth cover, a lid, anything that says, this has its place, and it doesn't need to be on display. Because not every part of your life needs to be constantly visible. Some parts deserve privacy, softness, rest. And when you give your home permission to close the door on clutter, even functional clutter, you give your mind that same permission too. Habit 8. Keep an exit basket. Because clutter has a door. Here's the habit that silently transformed Misako's entire home: the exit basket. Not a trash bin, not a junk drawer, a quiet, respectful place where things wait to leave. And in Japanese culture, this concept is surprisingly common. It's part of a principle called shupatsu no junbi, preparing to part ways. Most American homes don't have this. We have storage for keeping, but none for releasing. So what happens? We hold on. We delay. We get stuck in the limbo. I'll deal with it later. Misako's exit basket changed that. Every day or so, if she picks up something she no longer needs, a book she's done with, a sweater that doesn't feel right, an unused gift, it goes in the basket. No stress, no decision fatigue, no guilt, just a soft acknowledgement. This no longer belongs in my life. Once a week she empties it, donates what's useful, recycles what's not. But here's the genius part. The basket isn't hidden in a closet. It lives quietly in a hallway corner, woven, elegant, respectful, Not an eyesore, a portal, a visual reminder that release is a normal part of life. According to a 2023 behavioral study from Osaka Institute of Organization and Design, seniors who introduced an exit area into their homes were 32% more likely to maintain clutter-free surfaces for longer periods because letting go became a daily habit, not a seasonal purge. So here's your invitation. Find a basket, a bin, even a paper bag. Place it where it can gently remind you that your home is not a museum. It's a living space. And like anything alive, it needs to exhale. That basket, that's your breath. That's your release. That's the doorway to a lighter, more intentional home. Habit 7. Rotate. Don't accumulate. The Kasane principle of seasonal belonging. Here's a truth that might surprise you. You don't need less stuff. You just need less visible stuff. This is where the Japanese habit of kasane comes in, which loosely means layering or alternating with time. In fashion, it refers to the practice of layering garments seasonally. But in the home, Misako applies it as a philosophy of rotation, not accumulation. She doesn't get rid of everything she loves. She simply doesn't keep all of it out at once. Take her living room, for example. In spring, she displays a soft linen table runner and a single bud vase with a branch of blossoms. Come autumn, the linen is swapped for a woven runner in rust tones, and the vase is replaced with a small ceramic bowl of chestnuts. She doesn't own more. She owns seasonally. According to interior flow specialists in Kyoto, this rhythm of rotation creates a sense of novelty without adding clutter. It also supports something more profound: seasonal identity. Just as we change with time, so should our space. Misako keeps one shelf in a hallway closet for stored seasonal items, no more than a small box for each season. That's it. No bins bursting at the seams. No attic overflow. Just a respectful nod to time's passing. And here's why this matters. Neuroscientists in Japan found that seasonal decor rotation boosts dopamine release, the pleasure chemical, especially in seniors. Why? Because it invites change without chaos. It celebrates time without loss, and it anchors us to the now. So try this. Pick 3 things in your home that feel off-season. Gently wrap and store them, then choose one small item that reflects this moment, this weather, this emotion, this phase of life, and give it the spotlight. Because your home isn't static, neither are you. Rotation reminds you that you are allowed to change without adding more. You're just letting your space catch up with your now. Habit 6. Make the bedroom a sanctuary, not a storage unit. Here's a quiet truth. Few people say out loud, the way your bedroom looks is the way your mind feels when you try to rest. Misako saw this the moment she stepped into her daughter's guest bedroom. The room was generous. Queen bed, 2 dressers, side table, even a desk. But it was busy. Not messy. Just filled. Framed photos on every surface. Storage bins under the bed. Extra blankets folded at the footboard. Books stacked on the floor just for now. It was a good room, but it wasn't a room that said you can let go here. In Japanese homes, the bedroom is often the most minimal space in the house. Not because sleep is less important, but because it's more sacred. Misako learned the principle of Anshin no Ma, the space of emotional exhale, a room that holds no obligations, no decisions, no memory clutter, just rest. According to a 2022 study from Japan's National Sleep Research Institute, seniors sleeping in simplified bedrooms, fewer objects, lower visual stimulation, no visible electronics, slept 27 minutes longer per night, on average, and reported lower morning stress. So Misako made gentle changes. One framed photo remained. The rest went into an album. The underbed bins were emptied and donated. The desk became a quiet reading nook, with a single plant and a journal. The difference? Palpable. Her sleep deepened. Her shoulders relaxed. The room no longer reminded her of anything. It welcomed her into stillness. So here's your reflection. When you walk into your bedroom, does it feel like a place to recharge? Or a place that reflects all the things you haven't dealt with? Try this. Clear 3 surfaces. Store away everything not used for sleep, rest, or comfort. Give yourself a room that doesn't ask anything of you. Because in this season of life, you deserve peace that begins the moment your head touches the pillow. Habit 5. Don't keep tools that don't match your life anymore. Misako once opened a kitchen drawer in her daughter's home and pulled out a pizza cutter, a melon baller, and 3 pairs of chopsticks in plastic wrappers. She paused and asked softly, "Do you still eat melon?" Her daughter laughed. "I don't think I've bought one in 10 years. And just like that, a forgotten truth floated to the surface. Most of us keep tools for lives we no longer live. In Japan, there's a powerful word, motenai. It expresses a deep regret over waste, but not in the way we use it in the West. It's not just about garbage. It's about misuse of space, time, and potential. Holding on to tools that don't match your life isn't frugal. It's a form of emotional weight. Misako doesn't keep tools she doesn't use. She doesn't feel guilt about giving away the takoyaki pan she once used for festivals. She remembers it with love and releases it with grace. Why? Because she's not making festival food anymore. She's living this version of her life. A 2023 report from the University of Shizuoka found that seniors who regularly decluttered task-specific tools they no longer used reported higher feelings of agency and optimism. Why? Because it re-anchors identity. You stop seeing your home as a museum of your past lives and start shaping it as a partner in your current one. Misako's rule is simple. If she hasn't used a tool in 2 years and doesn't plan to, it goes. She's not erasing her past. She's making space for a present that reflects her body, her needs, her joy. So take a walk through your drawers. Are you holding on to cake pans you don't bake with anymore? Tools for hobbies your hands no longer enjoy? Let them go. Not in mourning, but in celebration. Because your life now deserves tools that match who you are today, not who you once were. Habit 4. Keep a daily reset tray. Reclaim your evenings with purpose. There's something quietly revolutionary about the way Misako ends her day. Not with TV blaring, not with one last scroll, but with a wooden tray. Every night around 7:30. After dinner and dishes, she brings out her daily reset tray. It's small, light, it holds a folded cloth, a single candle, her glasses case, and a small sprig of dried yuzu peel. This isn't about decor. In Japan, the end of the day is marked by shime, a boundary, a moment where the day is symbolically sealed, so the body and spirit can rest. Most of us, especially in Western routines, don't have a shime. We finish the day mid-chaos. Counters cluttered, mind racing. No signal that says, the work of today is done. But that tiny tray is Misako's signal. She wipes down the table, lights the candle, tucks away her glasses. She's not cleaning. She's closing. Her daughter began doing it too. At first it felt silly, then essential. According to a 2023 study from Japan's National Wellness Center, seniors who practiced a simple evening reset ritual, lasting under 10 minutes, showed significant improvements in evening heart rate variability, a measure of nervous system calm. Because your nervous system needs ritual, not for the body, for the mind. Misako's tray lives on a shelf near the kitchen. It only comes out in the evening, and in that moment, the home shifts. The energy quiets, the rooms soften. So try this. Create a tray, or a box, or even a bowl. Choose 3 or 4 items that symbolize your evening wind down. They don't need to be fancy, just consistent. And each night, use them to mark the close of your day. You'll feel it. The transition from doing to being, from movement to rest. That's not clutter control. That's life design. Habit 3. Let silence live in the home. Don't fill every corner with sound. Misako rarely plays music in the house, not because she doesn't enjoy it, but because she deeply understands something most of us forget. Silence is not emptiness. It is presence. In her Kyoto childhood, mornings were greeted not with radios or televisions, but with the soft sound of brooms brushing tatami mats, and the kettle coming to a slow boil. That sound, not the absence of noise, but the presence of stillness, is something the Japanese call shin, a sacred quiet, not just in sound, but in spirit. And yet, in most Western homes, background noise has become constant. The news murmurs from another room. Podcasts hum as we fold laundry. Music plays in every grocery store, every lobby, every moment of transition. Silence has become uncomfortable. But for Misako, silence is a teacher. She eats breakfast in silence, tidies in silence, walks in silence. Because it's in that quiet that the mind finds its own rhythm again. A 2022 report from Tokyo University's Department of Behavioral Aging found that seniors who practiced 30 minutes of intentional silence per day showed improvements in both memory retention and emotional regulation. Not meditation, not mindfulness, just silence. No noise, no commentary, just being. Misako keeps her TV remote in a drawer, not to avoid entertainment, but to make silence the default, not the exception. And she'll often say, if I'm always listening to something else, how can I hear myself? So here's a gentle challenge. Let one room be your silent space. No devices, no constant chatter. Let the fridge hum and the clock tick. Sit there. Breathe. Let your own thoughts arrive. Because in silence, the home stops performing and starts supporting. And in that pause, you begin to return to yourself. Habit 2. Create a home altar, a corner for memory and meaning. There is a corner in Misako's home that no one else touches, not out of superstition, out of respect. It's small, quiet, barely noticeable unless you're paying attention. A low table, a folded linen cloth, a photo of her husband, a small bowl of rice, and once a week fresh incense. It's her butsudan, a traditional home altar. But Misako doesn't use it for religion. She uses it for remembrance. In the West, we frame photos, hang plaques, maybe keep boxes of memorabilia in closets, but those things are often scattered out of sight, out of emotional reach. The Japanese altar, however, is intentional space carved out for memory, reverence, and grounding. It doesn't have to be spiritual. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It simply has to exist. According to a 2023 study from the Institute of Social Care in Fukuoka, older adults with a consistent daily remembrance practice, whether spiritual, ancestral, or emotional, reported lower levels of loneliness and a greater sense of rooted identity. Because home isn't just about the present, it's a bridge between who we were, who we loved, and who we're becoming. Misako lights her incense every Sunday morning, not for performance, for connection. She sits for 2 minutes, sometimes longer, and says nothing, but her eyes soften. Her breath slows. The room becomes sacred, not through design, but through intention. So try this. Choose a shelf, a table, even a corner windowsill. Create your own altar. It doesn't need rules, just presence. Maybe it holds a photo, a stone from a meaningful walk, a candle you light once a week. Whatever it is, give it its space. Let it be untouched by routine. Because when one corner of your home becomes sacred, the rest of the space begins to fall in line. Habit 1. Empty space is an invitation. Don't fill it, feel it. And now we arrive at the habit that quietly underlies all the others. The one that's not a tip or a trick, but a complete rethinking of what your home is. Misako once walked into her daughter's garage, newly cleared after months of effort, and stood there for a long time, just looking. Her daughter laughed nervously. Should I get some storage shelves? Maybe a workbench? Misako smiled and shook her head. No, leave it. Empty space is not a problem. It's a place that's waiting for you to arrive. In Japanese design, this concept is known as ma, the space between, the pause in music, the blank space around a painting, the uncluttered corner of a room. It is not wasted. It is essential. In fact, a 2023 analysis of traditional Japanese architecture from Keio University emphasized that intentional empty space increases feelings of peace, creativity, and orientation in aging adults. Not because of what's there, but because of what's not. Western culture often sees empty space as incomplete, something to fix, fill, decorate. But Misako sees it as the most honest reflection of peace. When her California home was finally done, she didn't celebrate the filled cabinets or color-matched shelves. She sat in the center of her living room, now half as furnished as before, and whispered, "Now the home has room for me." That's what habit 1 is about. Not purging, not organizing, but inviting, letting space exist for stillness, for movement, for possibility. So don't rush to fill every shelf. Don't cover every wall. Don't line every corner. Leave a room, a window, a square of floor completely clear, and sit with it. Let it teach you how little you actually need to feel complete, because true simplicity isn't what you remove, it's what you choose not to add back. You've made it through all 15, not habits, not hacks, but quiet rituals that whisper a new way of living, slow, soft, deeply intentional. Misako didn't transform her space by changing her furniture. She changed her relationship with her space. And through that, everything else, sleep, peace, clarity, even family harmony, shifted with it. If this journey stirred something in you, a memory, a sigh, a sense of yes, that's what I've been missing, then let that be your signal, not to rush, but to begin. One drawer, one corner, one pause of silence. That's all it takes. If you want a short, downloadable summary of these habits with extra tips and Misako's weekly checklist, just say the word Or let me know if you'd like to turn this into a video script or narrated guide. Your home isn't waiting to be perfect. It's waiting to breathe with you.